Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a stack of sources, articles, maybe some research notes you might have, and we pull out the really important stuff, the insights. Think of it like your shortcut to getting properly informed, hopefully with a few surprising bits along the way. Today, we're jumping into the incredibly fast-moving world of technology. We're talking cutting-edge AI, big shifts in global tech power, and the human questions that come with all of it. I've got a whole stack here from Bloomberg Technology, really interesting reports, interviews, covers everything from, get this, AI bots beating human hackers to the future of robotics, the sheer scale of investment, and even some pretty surprising legal fights that could change things. So our mission really is to give you that shortcut, help you figure out what actually matters in all these developments. Let's unpack it.
Okay, let's kick off with something that honestly sounds like science fiction, but it's happening now in cybersecurity. There's this startup, XPO. Their AI bot, it didn't just, play the game. It shot right to the top of HackerOn's U.S. leaderboard.
Right. And the kicker is, it's the very first time a machine, an AI, not a person, has hit that kind of rank. It's basically an AI hacker at the absolute top level.
Yeah, that's a huge milestone. And HackerOne, just for context, it's this platform, right? It connects ethical hackers with companies needing their systems tested.
Okay.
So XPO's AI isn't just theory, it's finding real vulnerabilities. We're talking big names. Palo Alto Networks, AT&T, Disney, Sony. And this is happening while cyber attacks are just constantly rising. Software keeps getting more complex, more vulnerable. Plus, a lot of these AI models, they're trained on open source software, which, it's just more likely to have bugs inherently, more targets for these bots.
And XPO's goal isn't just finding the problems, is it? They want to, I think the quote was, find vulnerabilities, fix them automatically.
Exactly.
They see speed as the main thing, the main competitor. Yeah. Because if you can find and patch something weeks before the attackers do, that's huge.
Massive savings, potentially avoiding huge breaches.
But does that automation itself bring risks? I mean, could an AI fix actually introduce new problems? Do you still need humans looking over its shoulder?
That's the critical question. The speed is amazing, no doubt, but human oversight, absolute crucial, at least for now, especially for really critical systems. Think of it more like augmentation, right? The AI handles the massive volume, the repetitive stuff, frees up the human experts for the tricky strategic thinking.
Okay, so augmenting humans in the digital world.
Yeah.
But AI's reach goes further into physical defense, too. That sounds equally profound.
Oh, definitely. Look at Palantir. They're often described as maybe the purest play in generative AI, specifically for defense tech. They've got big contracts, Israel, Ukraine, NATO, and this taps into a really urgent issue. The U.S. defense industrial base needs a serious update.
Modernization, right?
Yeah, a lot of America's military gear is, quite old, is putting it mildly. F-22s, B-2 bombers, these things first flew operationally in 1997.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And get this. Over 70% of the total cost of a jet isn't buying it, it's sustaining that old tech. It's a huge drain.
70%. That's enormous. So how does AI specifically help with that? Managing old, complex stuff?
Well, it's through software platforms. Palantir has one called ARC. It's an AI-driven platform for defense acquisition. It's basically designed to replace the super slow, manual, spreadsheet-heavy processes the DoD often uses.
Right, getting rid of the spreadsheets.
Exactly. Imagine shifting to an integrated system, global supply chain visibility right down to the individual part level, real-time insights, much faster decisions. It completely changes how you procure and maintain equipment. And it's not just military stuff. That same kind of AI thinking, Palantir's Warp Speed platform, is being used to help a U.S. nuclear company build new reactors.
New nuclear reactors. That's a big deal, considering.
It's a massive challenge. The U.S. has only built, 2 new reactors in the last 30 years.
And building nuclear capacity is vital for the U.S., especially competing with China, right? There's a national security angle there, too.
Absolutely. It's a big piece in the geopolitical chess game. China's moving fast. They're set to become the world's biggest nuclear power producer, overtaking the U.S. first time ever.
Okay.
So this AI partnership, what it does is digitize just mountains of documents, hundreds of thousands of pages needed for building reactors. It massively speeds things up, lets the teams on the ground actually build instead of getting buried in paperwork.
Makes sense.
And it's worth remembering, for listeners in the U.S., the safety record here is strong. 100 operating reactors over decades and not one death from radiation fallout. safety is paramount.
Good point.
So looking ahead, you can really see a future, maybe 5, 10 years out, where Gen AI is just embedded everywhere. Weapon systems, drones flying themselves alongside F-35s, machines on the ground. It's a genuine paradigm shift for defense budgets, moving away from just buying hardware to this software-defined approach. Faster updates, better intelligence, more adaptation.
A software-defined defense. That's a really powerful idea. Okay, so AI is securing digital systems, transforming defense. What about the physical stuff of AI and this global competition aspect? Because while the U.S. seems focused here on defense, China's really pushing hard into what people are calling embodied AI.
Embodied AI.
Which isn't just code, it's robots, autonomous cars, delivery drones, even robotic pets and humanoids. And they're getting, apparently, much more lifelike.
Yeah, and the scale of China's effort here is, well, it's pretty staggering. Their own government ministry says they produced nearly 100 different embodied AI robotic products just last year.
100?
100! And they claim that's 70% of the global market.
70% how?
Well, they point to their supply chain, that unrivaled stem-to-stern supply chain, plus their own big strides in AI and chip making, and the government's pouring money in. There's a, $138 billion venture fund just for humanoid robots. Job openings in that sector quadrupled, and you can actually buy some of this stuff. Unitree makes a humanoid, the G1. 4'2", 77 pounds, costs about $16,000.
$16,000.
Yeah.
For a humanoid robot.
Yeah. Or their robot dog, the G2, is like $600. These aren't just prototypes anymore. They're aiming for mass market.
That accessibility is incredible. Okay, speaking of incredible scale and market shifts, we have to mention NVIDIA.
Oh, absolutely. NVIDIA just overtook Microsoft. World's most valuable public company. Market cap hit, $3.8 trillion?
Trillion. It's hard to even grasp.
It really is. And it's not just NVIDIA, right? It's the whole AI wave carrying them. Data centers, cloud providers, the companies building the AI models, Meta, Amazon, AWS, they all need NVIDIA's chips. They have what you'd call a near-technical monopoly on those high-end GPUs, essential for AI training, though, AMD is starting to gain some ground too.
So what's the overall investment picture look like, this AI infrastructure build-out?
Yeah.
How big is it, and is it spilling over into other areas beyond just tech companies?
It's huge. The big tech players are spending something like $250 billion, mostly on chips and data centers.
$250 billion.
Yeah, and future projections. Some estimate maybe $7 trillion in total AI capital spending down the line. It's a massive redirection of capital.
$7 trillion.
And yes, it's definitely spilling over. AI is set to really transform non-tech sectors. Healthcare is a prime example. It's just primed for using that information. Think about patient data, running hospitals more efficiently, developing new drugs faster. Huge potential for better outcomes and lower costs. Diagnostics, personalized treatments.
Makes sense. But while some companies are riding this wave, others are feeling the heat.
Yeah.
Right. Like Tesla. We've seen some key executives leaving recently.
Yeah, that's true. High-profile departures like Hamid Afshar, who was apparently a key person for Musk, handling manufacturing and sales in North America and Europe. Just one of several recently.
And this is happening as competition ramps up.
Exactly. Look at Xiaomi, mostly known for phones, right? They just launched an electric SUV, priced really aggressively, like $35,000 to $46,000. And it took aim directly at Tesla's Model Y.
That was the demand.
Insane. They reported 200,000 orders in just the first 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, it shows you the fierce competition in EVs now, especially with Chinese companies leveraging their manufacturing muscle and pricing aggressively. And it's interesting, too, how China's policy is shifting slightly. They had that crackdown on tech M&A, remember? Alibaba, Tencent.
Right.
Now it seems they're allowing some acquisitions, again, maybe trying to give the economy a bit of a boost.
Okay, so massive innovation, huge market shifts. But this inevitably leads to some tricky territory. Ethical questions, legal battles. Let's dig into that a bit. There was a recent copyright ruling involving Anthropic.
Yeah.
Really highlights these new challenges. They use millions of books to train their AI models.
Right.
And the sources were mixed. Some were pirated book copies, but they also bought and scanned physical used copies.
Yeah, that's a key distinction in the case. Authors sued, obviously. And the core legal argument was about fair use in copyright law.
Fair use. Explain that a bit.
It's basically the idea that you might be allowed to use copyrighted material without permission if your use is Sufficiently transformative, meaning you do something new and different with it, and if it doesn't hurt the market for the original work.
Okay, transformative.
So the judge's ruling was really interesting. Scanning the physical books they bought, that was ruled fair use. The judge felt it was transformative enough for training AI and didn't directly compete with selling the books.
But the pirated copies.
No, those were not ruled fair use. That was still infringement.
Okay, so scanning legally owned physical copies might be okay. What are the implications of that?
They're potentially enormous. If that fair use logic holds up, AI companies could, in theory, ingest huge amounts of information from physical sources they acquire without paying anybody beyond the cost of the used book. Which leads to that really big question for creators and publishers. What's the doomsday scenario? Does the economic model for creating content just break?
Yeah, I mean, what's the incentive for an author to write if their work just gets, as you put it, sucked up into the machine with no compensation? If people stop buying books because AI can summarize or generate similar stuff?
That's the core tension, isn't it? The AI industry needs vast amounts of data to train effectively, ideally for free. But creators need incentive. They need intellectual property protection to make a living.
So we need new models. Licensing, maybe?
That's the discussion starting now. New licensing frameworks, maybe royalties based on AI usage. It's all very early stages, very speculative. But AI is just unlike anything we've seen before in how it learns and creates. So these legal rulings are not just about one company or one lawsuit. They're setting precedents that will shape the whole future of information, creativity, and commerce. And copyright is just one piece.
Right.
We're also just starting to grapple with AI's impact on jobs, algorithmic bias, privacy. It's a whole complex web of ethical and practical problems.
Wow. Okay, that really covers a huge amount of ground.
Yeah.
From AI bots becoming top hackers and transforming defense to China's push into physical robots, NVIDIA's incredible market value, and then these really deep, complex legal and ethical questions swirling around it all.
Yeah, if you zoom out, it's pretty clear we're in this period of just stunningly fast technological acceleration. The lines are blurring constantly, what's possible, what's allowed, what's ethical. It challenges all our old ways of thinking.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
And it forces us, collectively to ask those hard questions. How do we manage this? How do we balance pushing innovation forward with making sure things are fair, secure, and actually benefit people?
A huge challenge.
Absolutely. And maybe as AI keeps getting more powerful, augmenting what we can do, reshaping industries, maybe the biggest question isn't just what the AI can do. Maybe it's how we choose to weave it into our society. How do we make sure we still value and protect unique human intelligence, human creativity, in a world that's increasingly run by machines?
That's the fundamental question, isn't it? Are we building tools that truly empower us or systems that might ultimately diminish us?
Something definitely worth thinking about.